Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Trash Movie Kings podcast. I am your host, Adam Edwards, and we have a really exciting episode for you this week. But before we dive in, I do want to do that housekeeping at the top of the show. So if you aren't already, give us a follow on social media, TikTok, Instagram, X. We are Trash Movie Kings. Give us a follow on YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Spotify, go ahead and rate us 5 stars. That goes a long way. And if you have any questions for us or suggestions for movies that you may want to see us watch, you can shoot us an email at trashmoviekings@gmail.com. Okay, now that is out of the way, like I said, it is a very exciting episode this week. We got to talk to Emily Brixey, who is the CGI animator for the most recent Neil Breen film, Cade, the Tortured Crossing. Now, I don't want to say what she animated, because if you have not seen the movie, this episode does contain spoilers for a pretty major part of the film. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're sensitive to spoilers, go ahead, turn this off, save it for later. If you have seen it, you know exactly what Emily animated. She is a super talented, super great person to talk to. She talks a lot about her experience working with Neil and, just kind of what that was like and how, she's a big Neil Breen fan. And so, what it was like for her to work with him. But anyway, I'll let her say all of that. I just wanted to give y'all a heads up and give you the opportunity to turn this off if you have any interest in seeing Cade, the Tortured Crossing, which if you have the opportunity to see it in person, absolutely do that. One interesting thing about this interview, Emily has not yet seen the movie. So hopefully maybe we can talk to her again after she's seen it and kind of get her thoughts on it then. But now that that's out of the way, I will leave the rest of the episode to Emily, myself, and Apocalypse Howell, who joined us for the chat. That's all I got. Enjoy.
What do you have for me this time? Hacking into the stock market, closing down a bank, fixing an election. It's all easy.
Right on.
What a bunch of trash.
We have here Emily Brixey, CGI artist, animator, who worked on the most recent Neil Breen film, Cade, the Tortured Crossing. Really excited for you to be here. Thank you for being here, Emily.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Cool.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah. So first off, just tell us about yourself. Like, how did you become an animator? How long have you been doing it?
So I went to school for animation, basically. I was like, I understood like Disney's like the big shots, but I was like, I would like to work on animated films and stuff like that. So I went to University of Utah for Film and Media Arts in animation, and I graduated in 2017. And basically I've been doing freelance work. And also like I've done some stuff for Albertsons grocery stores, like motion graphics and stuff like that. And like Vons and Acme, those grocery stores across the country. And then most of it has been kind of like marketing stuff, but I was really excited for this job because it was like entertainment, and I was a Neil Breen fan before. And so when I saw on his Twitter post when he said he was looking for someone to do CGI, and I was like, I can do that. Like, I think I can for a Neil Breen movie. I think I can. So I replied back to him, and that's kind of how that started. And I was so happy to get that that job because I was so excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we wanted to talk about first is how did you get it? You said that you replied to the post, but like what happened from there?
So the Twitter post, he never said what animal it was, but he did say it was like a quadrupedal animal. And so I was like, okay, so like I think he maybe said in the beginning like cat-like, so I just did like a regular lion, and I tried to put like I didn't know that for the movie the camera was going to be still at this point. So I was trying to like show that I could keep a tiger looking natural in a scene while it was going on, and just kind of trying to make it look natural that way. And he's like, well, no, it needs to be like a white tiger. So I thought, okay, I could just do a tiger, and kind of looked on Gumroad, a site where you can get like models and stuff like that from people, and I just got a tiger, and I put that in the scene instead so he could see what it looked like. But he said, no, I want it to be like a white tiger. I want to see a white tiger example. So I was like, okay. So I like made it white and did that. And then I was like, oh gosh, like I thought I would have like, I'm assuming I had like some stiff competition. So I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like get this, because a lot of animation jobs are very cutthroat. So after that, he was like, yeah, like we'll talk about it. And he said that he had looked into animation studios to try and animate the tiger, but obviously that's a lot of money compared to, you know, just hiring a single person and not a large studio. And so we had like a phone chat. He explained what the significance of the role was in the movie, where he said, well, you guys have seen the movie, right? So I'm not
Yes.
like, okay, I haven't seen it, so this is just from what yeah, it's finally showing at a theater next month, so I'll see it. I was told it was like a shapeshifter person that he kind of knew as a person and as a tiger too. So I was like, okay, like, yeah. He said it was a legitimate film. There wasn't going to be anything too bad in it. So, and I was like, I didn't assume that from a Neil Breen movie, but and so yeah, I talked to one person who saw it, and I said, oh, like, do you know who that person was that the tiger was? And they said, no, in the film. Did you guys know for sure what the tiger's role was?
It was more like it was that movie, The Golden Compass.
Yeah.
Where they had the little daemons, those little spirit animals. I guess it was a spirit animal type of vibe. Or I couldn't stop wondering if it was a character that had been killed that I was supposed to remember. I just didn't. But I kind of took it as both.
Yeah, it wasn't clear if it was from the first movie or not. And, you know, but yeah, it wasn't exactly clear, but it was fun. It was definitely a protector. Like you said.
Yeah, because I don't remember there, like you said, I don't remember there being like a tiger person at all in the beginning movie or any.
There was the tiger. Which one was that in the mountain?
He's had tigers in like Double Down and Fateful Findings, I think, and some other ones, but Twisted Pair didn't have.
Cade movie.
I don't.
So who was it that got shot in the pool with him when he had the clenched butt cheeks?
In Double Down? That was his like wife or girlfriend or something.
Yeah, that's why I was like, is that supposed to be her? I didn't know. I couldn't remember.
I don't know. But so Emily, you said that you've seen Neil Breen's movies before. Have you seen all of them?
I believe I've seen all of them. Some of them it's been longer than most, but I know that I went out of my way to try and collect them all and like buy them from him or get ones off of a site if he discontinued selling them himself. Yeah.
What would you say was your Neil Breen origin story, as it were? Like, how did you discover him?
I think somebody introduced me to Your Movie Sucks, the channel, YMS, and I saw the video and I was like, yeah, this looks like really entertaining. Like I would want to watch these movies myself. And so I kind of did it on my own. And I was like, well, now I want to show like my family and friends, you know? And so that's why they're really into it too. Cause they're like, we love his movies, you know? I've shown them like The Room and like Birdemic and stuff like that, kind of like that genre of movie of like those movies, but they're always like Neil Breen does like the best of them all in their opinion. Like they seem to really like them.
Yeah.
More than the other ones.
What was it like? What do you think of Neil Breen movies? You kind of answered it right there, but what did you think of him from knowing his movies versus the reality of working with them? Like, what was the difference in what you thought he would be like versus what he was like?
It's kind of funny because I feel like he was very much who he is in the movies, I guess I would say. Like, I guess he was as I imagined him. Like, I feel like he's very true to self and what, I mean, I guess he puts on like kind of an act when he's like on the movie, but like, I just feel like he was more casual rather than trying to act in that movie, but yet still the same person, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't feel like I was meeting a totally different person than who I've seen.
That's cool because like I've read some transcripts of his like live Q&As, and the cadence of his words seems very similar to how he is in movies. Like he likes to repeat himself, like he'll repeat a phrase over and over again, just like he does in his movies. So that's cool that it's like you're saying he's pretty much the same guy, just a little more.
Yeah, because I always get
relaxed.
scared with like celebrities. Like I don't know if I want to meet them because then I have this like, oh, I think I know them and I think they're nice, but I didn't get that vibe at all with him. I felt like, oh, okay, he's very genuine in what he does and how he is.
And so once you got started on the project, what was it like to work with him? Like, what was his direction style? Was he good at giving detailed instructions of what he wanted? Like, what was the feedback process like? I don't know.
So when I started the project, he gave me the green screen, clean footage, and also a time stamped footage of the fight. So it was basically him fighting without the tiger. So I kind of had to keep rewatching the footage and like see what he was doing and then animate the tiger that way. He didn't have any specific like, oh, it needs to punch at this time frame or it needs to do this at this time frame. He basically said like, I just want it to look natural with my movements, and I did my best to fit that into what it was. I know he said that it wasn't like a man playing with a tiger, it was they were fighting. So I tried my best to like look at tiger videos and stuff like that, because tigers don't really fight like real people. They that was the hardest part. They
so you have firsthand knowledge in this. Yeah, you fight tigers. Okay.
Wow.
I just had to look at it, but it was like, oh, like most like attacks, they like go for the neck and like drag the person down. There's not a lot of like upwards like swatting. So I tried my best to like make it look natural for a tiger, even though tigers don't normally do that. Like basically what he said, it's a person acting as a tiger. Yeah, that's shape-shifted into a tiger. So it's kind of like I tried my best to like, okay, like that's
So did he not send you the whole clip of him moving to where you could have uploaded it, or did you just animate off screen?
When I worked on it, I animated with the video, and then like the tiger was separate in its own like 3D like world, and then they wanted it to be exported by itself. So I didn't export it with Neil Breen. I just worked with it in there, and then they were like, well, we need a clear background. We don't want Neil or the green screen in the background of it. So I didn't get to put it in the shot, but I did animate all of the like movements for it, but I didn't get to put the background in.
Okay, so you only saw him on green. You didn't see him in the environment that they then placed it in.
No, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I've seen like one picture of it, and I was like, "That's a lot brighter than I expected," but cool.
Well, that's what's interesting is like, so I edit as well, and it's like I can't imagine having to create something in 3D without knowing what the light source is supposed to be like.
Yeah,
that must have been an interesting challenge.
Yes, one big challenge is because I think the tiger that I had to work with was very good, but Neil wanted it to be pure white. So I had like a bunch of lights on that tiger, because like at first I tried to give it some shadow just to show some depth, and he said, no, this needs to be a pure white tiger. It needs to show that symbolism in the movie. And I was like, okay, it's looking a little flat, but I know this is what he wants. So I just put as much light on it. I updated the textures and stuff to make it as white as possible, that to his liking.
Was it done in Maya?
Yes.
Or was it After Effects? Maya.
I didn't put it in After Effects. I did put it in After Effects to show him the test footage, but I didn't work with that program because I think that's what he was going to work with to put it in himself into the scene.
Wow.
I made sure that the file was the right size for him to put it in there to the background he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tricky because I guess it's helpful. Was it? I don't remember, but were they both on the same they didn't change levels as far as terrain goes.
No, because
It just
the studio
so
was
you just
flat.
put the tiger right on the floor with them,
Yes.
or where you envision the floor.
Yeah. Like, I just tried to keep it as level as I could with Neil on the flat green screen floor of the shot.
Well, definitely sounds challenging.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds very challenging, but it also sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I get like what were you mentioned that like you put some lights on there and he came back and said, no, I want it to be purely white. You know, I don't want any of that. You tried to build depth in, but he just wanted it white. Were his notes pretty good and pretty easy to follow? Like, was the process what you expected? Was it more difficult, less difficult?
I think he was very, very open with what he wanted, and in a way, I was kind of like, oh, well, is he gonna like this if I do this? You know, does it look too nice? Does it not look aggressive enough? So I think most of it was just trying to think about what he would want and like trying my best to make it like in the time frame and like what he wanted. And if he just had to change, I would just go with it because it's his film. There's a reason why his films are so popular, you know, and I'm going to trust him that he knows what he wants for his vision. I think the only things that maybe were like the biggest hurdle in making the tiger was rendering the tiger. I don't have like the biggest industry grade computer as like an independent animator. So it took a long time because it has lots of fur and all the lighting and stuff and just trying to make it like movie quality, the render. It took a long time. And I know he didn't like that as much, you know.
What was the render
I was
time?
like, I don't want to give it like not the best render I can for the tiger if, you know.
How long did it take?
I think that whole process probably took like at least a month for both scenes. Yeah, it was
wild.
Wow. So how long did each render take?
I could get through maybe like, I think it was maybe like 150 renders a day. And then I remember I was like, they came back and said, well, we don't like this part. And I was like, oh no, we gotta like, you should have told me that when I sent the video. Cause now it's like, now I gotta go through it again. That's like a whole like 4 days of it. But I like did my best to speed that process up as fast as possible so he could get the footage for it.
This is probably too inside baseball and we might cut this, but did you render it as an MOV? Did you render it as an image sequence? What was your output?
I rendered it as an image sequence. They specifically requested a TIF file. Oh. And I remember being like, okay, it has to be that.
Yeah.
It has to be clear background.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
I mean, I have kind of like an NDA, but like the only thing it says is I can't give someone the tiger rig and make my own things off of it. And that's basically what it said. But
that must have been a nightmare if they were saying, no, we want to change this. I can only imagine that feeling.
It luckily wasn't too bad, but I just felt bad because the rendering was taking so long. If I was in the animation process, I would be like, yeah, cool. Like I can do that right there because I didn't take a week to think it was like the final showing of it. But
so do you watch a lot of animated movies like Disney Pixar type of movies? Are they
I like to watch them. The recent ones have kind of fallen off on just because I don't know. I think they're focusing a lot on live action and they just, you know, I think those
have you ever seen The Legend of Smallfoot?
No, not yet.
Have you ever seen Abominable, the cartoon about Bigfoot?
Oh, okay. I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Those are good ones.
Okay. I'll definitely put them on my list because, I mean, I get Disney's going more for realism now. And I like tried to look at the Jungle Book too, just to see how that tiger was in that movie. And then he mentioned in the phone call that he really liked The Life of Pi tiger.
I was going to ask if that was an inspiration for him. Yeah.
And then he told me that whole story about how the movie studio didn't pay the animation studio and they went bankrupt. And I was like, Oh, okay. Like
So,
on the phone.
so you're not
talking
going to do
about
that to
this
me,
movie.
right? Like,
But I appreciated the insight
yeah.
of like that history.
Did you ever see? Have you ever seen a movie?
That.
Have you ever seen Roar?
Not
Oh,
yet.
yeah, that's a good call. Roar is, are you familiar with Roar?
I don't think I've heard of it.
So it's from, God, what was it, like 83 or something like that?
Might have been older.
And it is a movie that was made at a cat sanctuary. And so there's this giant sanctuary of cats. I mean, they probably had 150 lions, tigers, pumas, all that kind of stuff. And they just filmed this movie, no script, no anything like that. And these cats are just wild, like playing with people, attacking people. It's kind of intense, but that, yeah, if you
that's not the one where like people died on it, is it?
They didn't die. They didn't die, but they got some of them got very injured. Some of them had to like get their scalps reattached and things like that. But if you want to see how large cats interact with humans,
that's this case study right there.
Yeah, that's the case study for sure.
I mean, I guess there's also like the Tiger King, but when that had its big heyday.
Yeah, that's true.
The Tiger King?
Yeah, that Netflix show.
Yeah, that show. Yeah. I don't like that guy.
Yeah. What's his name again? Joe Exotic or something?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, so from the moment you kind of got the job until you were done, how long was that process?
So I started talking early June to him on Twitter and stuff about doing the project, and I think it was maybe mid-August to beginning of September that I was done. So it was a short time frame. And like I said, a lot of that was just trying to render the tiger for like a month, or a few like 3 weeks or something. So it was kind of like a shorter time frame, but so I did my best to work within that schedule.
I heard PAX.
Yeah, there's somebody's walking past the door and she's freaking out about it. That honestly doesn't seem like that long of a time. So especially like given how much of it was spent rendering. So I think that's pretty impressive that you were able to knock out that animation that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, like
Justin
I understood
would never
like it
have
was
done it that fast.
Yeah.
I mean, like I understood I wasn't going to be like on a big team or anything like that, and it's like it's not like a big production, so I did my best just as myself to get through stuff and always be making sure I got feedback on what he wanted and all that.
Now, did y'all have any? Did you like get to meet him face to face at all in the process?
I didn't, but there was. I got to meet him like on the phone though, and basically talk about what he wanted through that. So it was like mostly phone, email, or Twitter that we communicated. But I never.
What was that first phone call? What was answering that first phone call like?
It was very weird because I was like, oh, because kind of like that first question is, like how is he in like person? And I was like, oh, just like, I don't want him to, I don't want my dream shattered that he's like rude or something like that. But luckily that wasn't it. He was very nice and he sounds exactly like he does in like the movies. And because I also was like, what if it's not even him? What if it's like a joke or something? But But I felt like it was very genuine, and I was so nervous because I wanted the job.
So that's sort of what Jason Marsiglio, which is an actor that's been on a couple of his sets, said. He is who he portrays himself as.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, minus the superpowers, or who knows?
We don't know.
It's true.
We don't know.
So would you work on another Neil Breen movie if he asked you?
Yeah, I would definitely do it again.
Cool.
I would want to do it again. Yes.
All right. Do you have any other projects coming up that you're kind of excited about?
I've been just trying to get like more work after it. Just doing like resume building stuff, and that's why I was really happy for this. And then like I don't have like I just do freelance for a local company here, and like, so basically just little marketing projects and stuff, but I want to go back into like entertainment kind of stuff. But unfortunately, due to the writer's strike and all that stuff going on, there's just been some halt, but I'm always looking for something though. It's like a tough business to break into, especially if you don't live in like the metropolitan areas that they're based in. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
look, I mean, not really thanks to but COVID, but there's like more remote options now that people are open to that I'm always applying for, and I'm open to anything really. Like,
Yeah.
What's the cutest animation thing you've done?
the cutest. What are you talking like? Kind of like a Disney or
like
style, or kind of like?
Adam might disagree with me, but in Houston here, that's where we're in Texas. We used to have HLMP, and that was the Houston Lighting and Power. Now it's long since changed, but they used to have Louis the Lightning Bug, and he'd come around on their commercials and fly around. Just a little animation of a little cute little bug.
I mean, I don't know if I have like super cute little characters or stuff, but I know that I've done like little toasting for like New Year for like social media pages and stuff like that. I think on my LinkedIn I have like my whole portfolio on there.
Cool.
I know cuteness is subjective or whatever. Actually, that made me think of, I was walking through Home Depot the other day, and they literally just had like a plank of wood with some eyes and a mouth, and I was like, I love that character. It's just wood. It's just, it didn't have any arms or legs. It was just a piece of wood. I loved it.
Yeah, it's like like Clippy from Microsoft Word back in the day. Like, just
if he was like, if that wood was like, what's it called whenever you pull wood out of the ocean? Driftwood. Yeah, if it was like reclaimed wood and it had little eyes on it, you could call him dang it, I had a good name for him, I swear. Plankton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really good.
Okay. That's good. That's
really
good. So you mentioned you have your portfolio on LinkedIn. Do you have any other social media or anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, like I usually go for like it's called like, my social media usually goes under the name of Fuglo or Fuglo Art, I think on Instagram it is.
How do you spell that?
Fugglo.
GGLO.
And that's where I just kind of keep like fun stuff I work on and stuff like that. Like personal project, I'll upload those to that. And I think those might be like, I'll have to see if they're on my LinkedIn or something like that. But at Fuglo for YouTube and TikTok. I'm trying to think all these social media apps. Not on X, not on the new Twitter or whatever. I don't think they do much video still. And then like Fuglo Art on Instagram. I think those are like the big three I do.
All right, cool. Well, I know we're kind of getting close to time. So is there anything else that you wanted to say or you wanted to share or anything like that?
Nothing other than I just really enjoyed working on the movie. I really liked working with him, and that I would hope that he would want to work with me again, and that I just hope everyone that sees the movie enjoys and is entertained by it.
Absolutely, they were.
Yeah. We saw a screening here in Houston, and everybody loved every second, every frame of that movie. And your scene, as it were, was definitely the highlight, like by a wide margin. So congratulations.
Okay, cool.
You said that there is a screening near you soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be next month. So it's been kind of like nerve-wracking to hear like other people's comments. I'm like, oh, do they like it? You know, because they're like, what did you think of that part? And I was like, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And then I know I've seen like credits where like, I forget who produced like some of the music and stuff. His name and my name are basically the post-production people besides Neil Breen, and I know that. But
yeah. Oh, that actually
I'm
reminds me
to be one of the two.
I did have a question a little bit more about the production. Did you add the sound effects, or did you just give him a silent file and then they added sound effects?
I did not add any sound effects.
Okay.
It was a silent file. It was just strictly the tiger and nothing of the background, none of the effects put on top of it or the environment, music or sound effects or anything. It was hard to just like, I want to like do everything for it. So it was hard to just be like, here's your files, but I'm sure that he did a great job.
Yes.
Well, and you did too. You did a great job on that. It was a great part of, and I think it just kind of added, like, it's not like you did an animation for a Neil Breen movie. You did the most memorable part of that Neil Breen movie.
Oh,
and so anybody that likes the Neil Breen, I guess he has his own genre, then they're definitely going to become some people that follow you, and definitely people that keep up and are interested in where you're going with your talents.
Yep.
Thank you.
Totally agree. So yeah, thank you, Emily, for your time. We've been interviewing Emily Brixey, CGI artist and animator. Follow her at, you said Fuglow Art?
Yeah,
right?
I believe on Instagram it's that, or Fuglow at YouTube or TikTok.
Okay. Yep, we'll put it
and
on.
And then you can always add
me
on LinkedIn. I'm not like, oh, I'll be their friend too.
Yeah. Cool. Well, again,
Tiger
thank you
fighting extraordinaire.
Yeah. Tiger expert Emily Brixey, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.